Great. So today we are going over day 27. This was the work from Tuesday. You may have noticed the days went like slightly out of order, right? We jumped from day 25 to 27. So that is correct. They're just a little bit out of order, and that's okay. So for question number 1, it says here to select all, so this could be more than one correct answer, the diagrams that show a fraction equivalent to 7/14ths. Interesting. So when I solve questions like this, the very first thing I do is identify the fraction that's being represented in each of these diagrams. So for this one, if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 plus 5, this would be tenths. And out of those 10 equal parts, there are 1, 2, 3 shaded. Now let me go to figure B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is sevenths, and there are 2 shaded. Now in this one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there are 3. So 3/6. And then in figure D, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're working with twelfths. And I see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shaded. Interesting. Well, something that I noticed right away, guys, I could use the butterfly method, right, to see if these are equivalent. But I also know that 7 out of 14 is equal to the fraction 1/2. Because 7, again, is half of 14. So knowing that, I can look at the rest of these fractions and determine which one is equivalent to 1/2. Is 3 half of 10? No. Is 2 half of 7? No. Is 3 half of 6? Yes. So C would be correct. And is 6 half of 12? Yes. These are the diagrams that are equivalent or equal to 7/14ths, which we know is equivalent to 1/2. Now, if you use the butterfly method to check each of these, that is perfectly fine. Let's look at question number 2. We have to fill in the blank to complete the equivalent fraction. So let's fill in the blank to complete this fraction. Well, let me make this a little bit larger so you guys can see that. When I think about the numerator and the relationship between 2 and 4, I know that what they've done is they've multiplied by 2. So really what they've done is multiplied by 2 halves, right? Because we know that when we generate an equivalent fraction, we have to multiply by a fraction that's equivalent to 1 whole. In this case, we're just doubling it. So multiplying by 2 halves, or 2/2. So when we do that to our denominator, 5 times 2 is equal to 10. So my answer would be 10. Over here in my response grid, I could start right here, or I could start here and put the 0 in the 1's place and the 1 in the 10's place. And bubble in my answer of 10. Question number 3. Another fill in the blank. So let me rewrite this so it's easier for you guys to see it. Divided by what? Ooh, all right. So again, thinking about that relationship from 4 to 8, it looks like, again, they've doubled it because we know in our brains that 4 times 2 is equal to 8. So what they've done is they've multiplied by this fraction equivalent to 1, 2 halves. Same thing they did up here. So 15 multiplied by 2 would give me a denominator of 30. So my answer is 30. And again, we can start right here, or we can write it here at the end. This time I'll go ahead and bubble in 30. Next question, number 4. Oh, this looks really long and confusing, but let's break this part down. Julia ordered a quilt to be 3/8 gray. So I guess like shaded. She wants 3/8 of it shaded gray. When Sherry delivered the quilt below, Julia claimed it was only 2/8 gray. Is she right? Explain. All right. The first thing I would do right away is look at this and say, well, there's not 8 equal parts, right? No. So let's count and see how many equal parts there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it's almost like she doubled it. And you know what's kind of cool? I'm going to find a pen that's a different color. If I were to draw a line right here and cut this in half, can you kind of see now 8 equal parts right here, eighths, and then eighths down here? And when you look at what's shaded, I see 1, 2, 3 eighths, and down here I see 1, 2, 3 eighths. So let's take a look at our answer choices. Yes, the quilt is 6/16. Well, that makes sense because there's 16 equal parts. And we said there's 3 shaded up here and 3 down here, so that would be 6/16. So this part's correct, which is equivalent to 2 eighths. Well, let's look. 2 eighths. Now, is that true? To get from 2 up to 6, you'd have to multiply by 3. And what you do to the top, you must do to the bottom. So multiplying by 3/3. Is 8 times 3 16? No. So 2 eighths is not equivalent, so A is incorrect. Yes, the quilt is 4/16. No, it's not. There's 6 parts that are shaded. That's 6/16, so that makes this one wrong. No, the quilt is 6/16, which is equivalent to 3 eighths. Well, that looks like the right numbers, but let me go back and reread the question. Julia claimed it was only 2 eighths gray. Is she right? Well, no. We just said it's 3 eighths. It's 3 eighths up here and 3 eighths here. So C would actually be the correct answer. It is 6/16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 16, which is equivalent to 3 eighths. And we just determined that it is equivalent to 3 eighths. So C is the correct answer. Let's look at number 5. Mark's family has lived in the same town for exactly 3 years. How many months has he lived in this town? All right, so it looks like we're converting 3 years to months. Well, I know that my reference sheet tells me that 1 year is equivalent to 12 months. And I actually know that because I learned that quite a while ago. So what I have to do then is just add 12 plus 12 plus 12. Some of you may have multiplied 12 times 3. We would arrive at the same answer of 36 months. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6, 1, 2, and 3. Turning over to question number 6. Moving right along. Elizabeth, enjoys running long distances. She decided to measure the distance she ran for the day. What unit would best help her solve this problem? So we have liter, centimeter, mile, and inch. Well, a lot of you that do Runners Club, your brain probably went right here, right? The mile. Let's look at the other answers though and see if there's a better answer or if this one does make sense. Liter, that's talking about liquid capacity. You're not going to measure distance with liters or capacity units of measurement. Centimeter. That's very small. That's like, about the distance of the width of your fingernail. Would it make sense to measure the distance you're running? You'd be there forever. What about inch? An inch is like right here on a ruler. So again, if you take this measurement right here, and you're going to measure the distance you've run? No, doesn't make sense. Mile is the best answer choice. Number 7. Sandy cut 3 pieces of yarn to use for her art project. 1 piece was 1 foot 8 inches long. 1 was 10 inches long. And 1 was 2 feet 6 inches long. How much yard did Sandy use? Okay. I would set it up just like this. 1 foot, 8 inches. And I'm abbreviating for those units of measurement. The next one was 10 inches. And then 2 feet, 6 inches. And I would add those together. So let's see here. This is 16, and 16 plus 8. I can even count up on my fingers if I have to. 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I have a total of 24 inches. And then over here I have 2 plus 1, which is 3 feet. But I don't see that as my answer choice. But wait a minute. 24 inches, that's larger than another foot. I know that 12 inches is equivalent to 1 foot. So I could actually make 2 more feet out of this. So I'm going to cross this off and add 2 here, which gives me a total of 5 feet. Let's look at my answer choice. C, 5 feet. There it is. All right, number 8, moving right along. Rita cuts 4 yards of ribbon from a 12-yard spool. She then cuts 6 feet of ribbon from the spool. How much ribbon is left on the spool? Oh boy. So, here we go. Select all the correct answers. Whoa, it can be more than one. All right, so let's start off first. We have a 12-yard spool. She takes away 4. So first, let's take away that 4. That leaves her with 8 left. So we took care of that part. Then she cuts 6 feet of ribbon. Now, be careful here, because this was yards. That's 8 yards. She then cuts 6 feet. So this is tricky. We can't just subtract 6. We have to know and recognize that 6 feet is equivalent to how many yards? Well, on your reference sheet, which you should have printed, it'll tell you that in 1 yard, you have 3 feet. So how many yards would be equivalent to 6 feet? Well, 3 plus 3 is 6, so that'd be 2. So if I take 2 yards away from 8 yards, then I'm left with 6 yards. However, it says select all. So let's see if they have 6 yards as an option. They do, it's A. So 2 yards I know is incorrect. You know why they did that? They wanted to see if you'd take 8 minus the 6 feet. Not recognizing that it was feet, not yards. They're so tricky. 2 feet, again, they wanted to see if you would subtract, not recognizing that you're going from yards and feet now to your answer. So that was a distractor. But now let's look. Let's see what else we've got. 6 yards, but didn't we say that there are 3 feet in a yard? So 6 yards would be equal to how many feet? Well, 6 times 3 would be 18. D, 18 feet. So you had 2 answers that were correct. Let's look at number 9. 2 more to go. You guys are doing great. Joseph's notebook cover is 12 by 8 inches. He puts a wildlife sticker on the notebook cover. The sticker is 3 inches by 2 inches. How many square, oh, they're talking about area, inches of the notebook cover are still showing? So I would draw a picture. And I know that if Piper's watching this, she would probably say, absolutely, I drew a picture too. So here's the notebook cover. Let's just pretend it's like one of those spiral notebooks that you guys normally have. And they said that it's 12 by 8, so 8 and 12. And then you put a wildlife sticker on the cover. So here's your sticker. So that's going to cover up or take away that much. And that one was 3 by 2. They want to know how many square inches of the notebook cover are still showing. So we have to figure out this remaining area right here without the wildlife sticker. So step 1, we're going to have to find out the area of the whole notebook cover. And we know area is equal to length multiplied by width. So we have to multiply then 12 times 8. You probably set up an area model, 10 and 2, and multiplied by 8. We know that's 80, 8 times 2 is 16. Add those partial products, you get an area of 96 square inches. But that's for the entire notebook cover. Now, step 2, we have to find the area of the sticker, which is 3 times 2. You guys know that in your head. That's 6 square inches. Now we have to do some subtraction. 96 minus the sticker of 6 would leave me with 90. 90 square inches. C. Last question. If the area of a rectangular room, so I'm already thinking rectangular room, they've given me the area, it's 132 square meters, and the length is 12 meters, so 12 meters. What is the width of the room? Ugh, missing side length. There it is. So again, area is equal to length times width. I would rewrite that formula. Then I'd plug in what they gave me. 132 is equal to 12 times what? That's what we have to solve for. So now you got to turn on your brain. 12 times what? Well, 12 times 10, that'd be the same as 12 times 1 and bring over the 0. That's 120. So to get from 120 to 132, I would need another group of 12. So let's think for a moment. That's kind of like, okay, well, if I know 12 times 10 is that, then what's 12 times 11? So I don't know why I just wrote that. It was in the way of my area model. Get with the program, Mrs. Body. So I could break this apart into 10 and 2. That's 12. And now break apart the 11. 10 and 1. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 2 is 20. 1 times 10, 10. 1 times 2, 2. Add up those partial products. This would be 120 plus 12. Oh yeah, that's kind of like, that's 120, and then I'm adding on this extra group of 12. This would be 2, 3, 1. 132. So the missing side length, or the width of this rectangular room, is going to be 11 meters. Not square meters, because that's talking about the total area. So look, they gave you both of those answers. They're always going to do it. You got to know that when you're talking square meters, that's talking about the total area to cover this entire room. 11 meters, that's talking about just the dimension or the missing side length. Great job today, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these problems we've just reviewed and gone over.